Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Loch Briar Knits podcast. This is episode 164, I think, 3 or 4. We are upstairs in my office today just because there is some construction going on at my neighbor's house, and this seems like the quietest place I can find in this house to do this in. So it's a bit of a bland background. But we'll work with it. I wanted to get this done today because I know I'm not going to have time tomorrow. And then what else is going on? There's stuff going on this week. I need to make myself a list. It's just one of those weeks where it's just been insane. So anyway, I do have stuff to show you. I have finished object, I'd say about close to a half finished object. I've got a new cast on. I have two new cast ons actually, because I don't think I showed you the other one. I may have shown it in the June vlog or talked about it in the June vlog, but I don't know if I'd started it. So I've got that, and I did make some purchases. One I did because it was sort of a special request for a Christmas gift. So I bought it. We'll talk about that later. And I think that's everything. So let's dive in. It is July 8th today. And it is going between sunny and cloudy today, but we're supposed to be getting some thunder and lightning storms interspersed throughout the day. So I was planning on pressure washing. I've started pressure washing our deck, and I'm just kind of doing it bit by bit because it was a little more labor intensive than I think I had anticipated. So I'm about a little more than halfway through, and I didn't want to haul all of that stuff out today and then have to try to scramble and get it back in if the rain started. So here we are. I thought, hey, let's do an episode because I'm due. So I'm looking around because I'm trying to find softball. I don't know. No, those aren't good. Well, we'll try it. Okay. The baby sock blockers. So the first thing I did was I finished the socks from my summer sorbet colorway. I am the handler behind Loch Briar Knits for anybody new. Oh, that pretty looks. That doesn't look too bad. That fits on there pretty good. I have very small feet. So this is my summer sorbet colorway, and this is how it turned out. I just love the bright colors in there. They're just, it's just so happy colors. My sister saw, I posted these on Instagram, and my sister saw them and said, I assume those are coming to me for Christmas. I was like, nope. Nope. We'll see come Christmas time if there's any of this left in the shop, and then maybe she might get lucky. But yeah, I used up the entire skein because I had used a portion of the skein prior to, just to do a little triangular swatch, just to have that in the I wanted to knit it up to see how it knitted up, because the colors, I just loved how this colorway turned out. It's my first time doing this colorway, and I wanted to see how it knitted up. And then I was like, well, I've got enough left over to do a pair of socks probably for me, because I have very small feet. So that's what I did. And I literally had maybe I don't even think I had 3 grams left. I was getting a little worried near the end of the second sock when I was getting up to the toe. I was just like, but I did. I finished them. I do think though I made one foot a little smaller than the other, just a smidge. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I was getting nervous, and so psychologically I did. But it doesn't really matter because, again, I have small feet, so they just, if they stretch out and they fit, and that's all that matters. So that's my first finished object, my only finished object. Oh, actually, I do have something else to show you, which are finished objects. So yeah, so I'll grab those. Those are sort of they're sort of like a combo of things. So I'll go grab those right now and I'll show you. But that's my first finished object from me. So here's the other finished objects. I knit up face cloths for Christmas, and I ended up actually purchasing some more. I have some cotton yarn, but this stuff, the colors in it were just so beautiful. So this was one colorway I did, and I think I might have shown you the start of that one in the last episode. And then this was another colorway. Like, look at, I just loved the color. The yarn was by Estelle. And what I'm doing is, rather than making dishcloths, I thought I'm gonna make, I've done 3 so far, the other one's over there, but I'll show you kind of what my plan is I'm making up face cloths, and then I'm doing the socks. And I'm not doing this for everybody, I'm just doing it for some of the ladies in the family. And then I've got a local soap maker that I get my soaps from over by the Schooner House, and this one is Citrus Splash. So I'm kind of doing like a little sort of gift package like that. So socks, face cloth, handmade soap, and then this one is champagne pear. So I have a bunch of different scents, and they're not overpowering. They're like mild, but it's still like a really pretty scent to them. So those are like I did 3 of these, and I did end up getting some more because I just really loved the colorways they had for the different dishcloths. So this is the other one I did. And I don't have the socks. I don't think I have the socks done up for this one yet. So there's that one. And I really, really loved that one. So I did get duplicates of the 2 that I just showed you over there. And then I did get another one of these. And then this one is it's similar to the one that I showed you, but it's not quite. When you hold them up side by side in the ball, you can see that this one is actually a little different. And then this one is like really pink, but it's not like a solid. It's still, so you can tell, it's still speckled. It's just heavily speckled. That's part of the Christmas gifts that are going on. Speaking of Christmas stuff, while we're on it, is my brother-in-law loves the Briggs & Little Tuffy socks. I have made him 2 pairs now, and he's been making noise that he wants another pair for Christmas this year. But I find working with the Briggs & Little Tuffy sock yarn is really hard on my hands. And I don't know if I just have like a death grip on it or what the deal is, but I don't know. But anyway, I broke down and I was like, fine. So what I did, I'm going to do the socks in this green color. Let me see if it's got a color name to it. It's called Green Mix. And I'm going to do the cuff and the toe in the red. I'm not going to do the heel and the red because I hate switching out my yarn to do a heel. I hate doing that. Oh my God, these glasses are dirty. It's like I was trying to poke myself in the eye and just kept hitting glass. So anyway, that is the plan for, so I did buy that. And then when I was buying that, because I wasn't happy about it, I bought myself this. Look at this. It's sock yarn. Is that not insane? I know I'm not supposed to be buying yarn this year, but whatever. This is Footprints by Lang Yarn. It's called their Wool Addicts Footprints. Da-da-da. So this is a German wool. It is 45% cotton, 42% virgin wool, and 13% polyamide. That's an interesting blend. I didn't even look at the blend when I was grabbing it. It is 100 grams, 400 meters, made in Italy. Isn't that pretty though? Like, look at the colors in that. I didn't realize it had cotton in it, so that'll be nice because I'm not a big fan of knitting with cotton. Those actually, the dishcloths weren't too bad, but I find it hard on my hands. But this doesn't even feel like cotton. It feels like wool. So I think that'll be fine. Those are going to be for me. So that's all of like the finished stuff and I guess acquisitions. Yes, I acquired things. I know I'm not supposed to. Whatever. Also in the works is I cast on a new pair of socks. And I've got a big old ball of, here we are. This is what this is going to end up looking like. I'm hoping that's coming out clearly. Welcome back. So here's my comedy of errors. When I tap the screen to give a clearer image of the sock, when I brought it back, I forgot it, like it didn't readjust, so I didn't tap it to clarify it. And you can do it. The dog's trying to get around the thing. Hang on. There, you can cross over that. Or you can come around that way. Okay, yeah. Oh my God. This day is turning into a comedy of errors right now between me with my blurred video, the dog trying to get around the equipment right now, which I'm sure is bound to end in disaster. Okay, let's carry on. Let's carry on. So here's where we were. I was showing you the yarn. I am not tapping the screen this time. This is what it looks like. It is beautiful. I absolutely love this. This is going to be for my husband for Christmas. So I'm a little sad. It's not going to be for me, but I do know they have some more. Hang on for a second. There, you can go under. Oh my God. Anyway, I love this yarn. I am really tempted to get some for me. And I cast it on, I did it on the size 0 needles that I do mine on because I wanted it just to be a bit of a tighter knit. And my husband is on the lean side, so I didn't need like to worry about like big beefy calves or anything. So I thought I'm going to put it on the small one to get a tighter gauge. And then I cast on 60 64 stitches, 32 and 38, 64 stitches for it. But I absolutely love how it's turning out. So that is the sock I have on the needles right now. The other thing I have is my Fletching sweater by, oops, let me see if I can do this. My Fletching sweater by Jessica MacDonald. It's a colorwork sweater, and I'm knitting it in Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, Stroll Tweed, Wool of the Andes, in the Dove, Heather, and the Currant colorway. So the main color is the Dove, and then the color work is done in the Currant colorway. And I absolutely love how this is knitting up. It's just the gray and the dark red just create such a beautiful contrast. And the color work was very easy. I did make a mistake. Maybe it's not the note. Maybe it was the second one. No, I'm sure. No, maybe. I don't know. I can't even find it now. That's weird. Oh, here it is. So this is it. It's on the back. I'm glad you can barely see it. Here we are. So it was in the second one right here. So you can see like this right here. It's just, it was off by one. And for the life of me, I could not figure out. I went back a couple of times and I couldn't figure out what it was that I did wrong. And then I fixed it, and then, well, I didn't fix it, but I went back and I thought I found my error. But when I got there, it was still a little off. So I went back again to where it seemed to stop doing what it was supposed to. And then, so I picked it up and I followed the pattern. And then when I got to the end, I was still like one off, at which point I said, I don't care. That's enough. It's on the back, it's mid back, but honestly, unless you're really looking for it, because I couldn't even find it, I had to look for it. Unless you're really looking for it, you're probably not going to notice. It's just that it's right here. You can see it's almost like I'm down one or something, which doesn't make any sense because I was on the right line. So I don't know. I don't know what I did, but I'm loving the sweater. I'm on Body Island right now. I've probably got about 10 more inches of Body Island before I can do the hem. Then it's going to be Sleeve Island. So this is definitely my mindless knit, but it's not my only mindless knit. But what I can say is anybody who has not done a colorwork sweater and you want to do one, I cannot recommend Jessica MacDonald's patterns enough. The way she writes her patterns, it's so straightforward. It's so simple and easy to follow. When I did my very first colorwork sweater, I did one of hers and it was designed specifically for the new colorwork knitter, somebody who hadn't tried it before or who was very new to it. And that was called the, oh my God, winter something sweater. I'll put it down below, but this one would also be a perfect one to do because it's just one color. The color work is so easy to follow. It, like, honestly, can't recommend it enough. So that is my sweater, but mindless knit number 2 is my blanket. So last Christmas, I got an advent calendar from Lichen and Lace, but it wasn't your like standard, you purchased the whole package as an advent calendar. She wasn't selling like the advent yarns and all of that. What I did was I didn't need all of the brouhaha around the usual Advent calendar, yarn calendars that get sent out. Not that I didn't want it. And I have had them in the past and I love them, but I knew I was going to be retiring, so I didn't want to be spending that kind of money on all of the the little extras and stuff. So I just thought, what's a way I can do this and still enjoy opening like minis for Advent without breaking the bank and without getting a lot of extras that I probably wasn't really going to use anyway. So what I did was I ordered batches of or bundles of minis from Lichen and Lace because I love her yarn. And I thought, I know I'm going to get colorways that I like. I closed my eyes and I didn't close them. I squinted to the point where I couldn't really make out what the bundles looked like. I just wanted to make sure I was hitting the right buttons. And I purchased, I think it ended up being 4 or 5 bundles. And then I had when they arrived in the box, I had my husband put them in the little burlap bags that I had left over from, I think it was my Advent calendar from a homespun house a few years ago. So he put them in the numbered bags, and then he put there was a few leftovers because I had ended up getting, I think, 27 skeins. So the 3 that were left over, he put in a little case that I had, and that was sort of like my Christmas Day, the one I opened on Christmas Day. I really wanted to make sure that I used up the minis before the upcoming Christmas. So I thought, well, I better get on the stick. And I was trying to think what to do with them. Sorry, I'm getting myself untangled here. And I thought, you know what? And I kind of looked at some different projects. And in the end, I thought, you know what? Down on my couch, I've got like a thin gray blanket that kind of hangs on the back of it. I don't even know where I got that from, but I thought I would really like maybe a hand knit blanket to go there instead. So I thought that's what I'm going to do. So I laid the yarns all out, and I think I show this in the June vlog, which I'll just link up here. But I laid them all out, and then there were a couple of repeats of yarns, which actually worked out really good because I thought I'm going to use those two to anchor either end. And the only reason there was repeats was because I wasn't buying an Advent calendar. I was buying bundles of minis, and some of the minis were repeated in different bundles. But that actually didn't happen too often. I think there was three instances where that happened. It always seemed to be the ones that repeated were my favorites. So that worked out really well. Anyway, so I thought, okay, I am going to make myself an Advent blanket and just kind of knit it up. So I laid them all out and I kind of got them in the order, and then I wound them on my ball winder. And then what I did was I slipped the number of the order they're going to be knit in kind of in the skein so that I could pull it out and go, okay, goes here. Because I knew I wasn't gonna remember, and I did take a little video of it, but I thought I don't have to keep referring to the video. I just want to be able to grab it and go. This is what I have so far, and what I am doing is I am knitting the skein until it is all gone. I'm not stopping at an end. I'm going right through. And if it runs out in the middle of a row or 3/4 of the way through a row, then I just stop and I pick up the next one. So this is what we have so far. Here is one thing I discovered as I was going through. I started to get a little nervous that the 27 minis that I had were not going to make it long enough because I cast on 300 stitches, which in retrospect, I probably could have gone with 250. But I do have a lot of leftover sock yarn, and all I needed was like 20 grams, give or take. give or take a gram or two. So I thought, well, that's fine. I'm going to go through my leftover sock bits, which what a perfect way to use those up, and grab colors that kind of work in with the color scheme that I'm using. So that's what I ended up doing, because what I discovered was as I was going along, I'm getting about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anywhere from 5 to 6 rows. Like kind of back and forth, six times or whatever. And so I thought if I were to kind of count those, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 here, and I only have 27 minis. So if I wanted to be a length where it's going to like cover my whole lap, luckily I'm short, so that's working in my favor. Because I just want it to be like a lap blanket. So I thought, that's fine. I'll just match up my leftover sock bits to fit in the color schemes that I'm going with here. And it's turning out really well. Like this one here is from my sock stash. And that's the first one I've used from my sock stash so far. Because it was kind of when I got to this point that I realized, I don't know if I'm going to have enough. I am really enjoying this. It is a really nice, mindless, colorful knit, and it's fun because every, like every inch and a bit, it's changing, and I'm just loving the color play and the way that the colors are just blending together. I love it. So that is a happy knit. So those are kind of my two mindless knits. I am getting a little itchy to cast on another hat. I don't need another hat, but I'm sure I can find somebody who does. I'm getting itchy to cast on another Musselburgh hat. And now that I know I can just cast on the stitches normally instead of doing the cast on that she has you do, which I find super fiddly, and I dreaded doing it. And then I tried the one Nitty Natty did, which FYI, if you don't follow Nitty Natty, I highly recommend, because she is doing a yarn tour through Canada and she's making all these wonderful stops. And I just watched the one she did for Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. And honestly, I just want to get in my car and go to all the places she has been. So if you haven't been watching that, I would like highly recommend, especially if you're from Canada and you're not aware of all of the yarn stores in your area. This is a really good, because there were a couple that she mentioned in like within driving distance of me, and I'm like, I didn't even know that one was there. So yeah, I think I got some plans coming up for this summer. I may be breaking my my yarn diet, and I do not feel even an ounce of guilt. So anyway, I can't even remember where I was going with that, but I am getting it. Oh yeah, I'm getting itchy to cast on a Musselburgh hat. And I think what I might do is I might go through my hat, kind of my hat, cowl, shawl stash, and just kind of look at ones that I'm not wearing. I have the hiccups now. So I just kind of look at what I'm not really wearing and see if maybe my sister might want some, or my niece. Or what I might do as well is move some of them out to the schooner house just to keep them out there for when we're out in the cooler weather. And yeah, so that I think is what I'm gonna kind of do, and then that gives me an excuse to knit some new ones. Like I needed an excuse. I didn't need an excuse. I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't need an excuse. But I do need storage space. So my storage spaces are starting to get filled up. I think that's what I might do. And I may do the same thing with my socks, just take some of my older pair of socks, knit socks, out to like the schooner house just to have them there so I don't have to, it's just less I need to pack. I find like I've moved some things over, so when I pack my bag now, there's not a whole lot in it, and that just seems to make it much easier and quicker when we're heading out there. So anyway, I have down here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, actually, I have 5 bags down here of projects that either projects or yarn, but mostly I think it's both. Like I have the project idea in with the yarn and just kind of decide what's going to be next. One is the Illume shawl. Another one is Everyone Wants This Shawl, which is by Mariner's Daughter. And this is, oh, I think this is another, I don't know what this is. The Flying Solo. So I've got that, and I've got the yarn picked out. And then in here is oh yeah. So I had started making the fire pit mitts. Fire pit mitts? Yeah, fire pit mitts from Taylor over at Wool Needles Hands. For my, I almost said my uncle, for my brother-in-law last, oh God, was it last year? And then I think he'd mentioned wanting something, and I thought, oh, I'll get him that, or else I just ran out of time. I forget which. But I started knitting those, so maybe I will finish those for this to go with his stupid socks. And then the other thing I have is my, so I was doing the half and half wrap. This was from way back, if any of you have been here, and I made a mistake and I couldn't figure out the mistake. So I ended up having to pull out the whole, I'd only like started on the first half of the wrap, but I had to pull it all out. So I have all of this yarn. So I have to decide if I want to do the half and half wrap. I think I do, but the problem I had was that I had set this aside for a few months anyway, because I just got onto some other projects, or it was Christmas and I was trying to get Christmas knits done. I don't remember why. I set it aside, and then when I went back to it, I lost my place in the pattern, and I thought I had picked it up properly and I didn't. So then I had to think back, and then I tried to figure out where I was, and my brain was just not accepting what it was seeing. And I kept messing it up, and then I had to frog it because I just could not figure out where in the pattern I was, and everything I did to try to figure it out was wrong, and I was getting really frustrated. So I thought, you know what, I am just going to forget it. I'm going to take it apart, and then if I decide to go back and do that later, I can, or I can do something completely different. I have enough to do the half and half wrap, so I would kind of like to do that, but I think because I had gotten so frustrated with it, I thought I'm going to have to let that sit there for a while before I'm ready to go back. So anyway, I do need to I would like to pull something from this area to do next. But the other thing I also want to do is to cast on the Everyday Cardigan. Is that what it's called? The Everyday Cardigan? It's on my episode I did maybe 3 episodes ago, where I talked about learning new skills. And this was, I have not knit a cardigan yet, and this was a really good, everybody seemed to recommend this as a really good starting point if you've never done a cardigan before. And I think it's called either like my first cardigan or the Everyday Cardigan. I'll put it down below, and I'll link up here the episode it was on where I had talked about learning new skills with small projects. That's not a small project, but it's hard to learn how to knit a cardigan if you're not actually knitting a cardigan. So I do want to bring that out. And I also this summer would like to tackle brioche. So that's upcoming plans. Stay tuned for that. So I am going to go back and finish editing my episode in the hopes of getting it up tomorrow. So until next episode or the July vlog, whichever comes first, I will see you guys later. And I hope you're having a great summer and I will see you soon. Bye.